Unit 2.4, Video 3. In this third video of Unit 2.4, we would like to underline and point out how different is being overweight or obese if you are suffering acquired disability. This graph, which is from a very interesting publication entitled The Art of Healthy Living with Physical Impairment, very clearly describes how the weight of someone changes after the acquisition of a physical impairment such as a spinal cord injury. Immediately after the injury, the weight is dramatically reduced. But after a few weeks or months, the weight starts first recovering and then exceeding the weight we had before the injury. What is considered maybe just the recovery of the normal weight is often an increase in fat mass, while the decrease observed at the beginning is mainly represented by a decrease of lean mass. So at the end of the process, years after the injury, this subject has accumulated a huge amount of body fat together with a strong reduction in lean and muscle mass. Those parameters we define the body mass index we observe in video number 2 describe the classes of obesity and overweight in people without any disability. But the classes of these parameters change if we are suffering a spinal cord injury. You can see that people with paraplegia, they are considered overweight in a range that was mainly the range of normal weight in people without acquired disability. People with tetraplegia on the right, the weight that was considered normal weight in someone without any disability is now completely included in the class of overweight. Why do this occur or happen? Well, we often hear about a condition that is defined sarcopenic obesity. Sarcopenic obesity is a condition where fat mass is accumulating in the body and at the same time lean and muscle mass are decreasing. And this is something that is unfortunately common in people, especially in elderly, overweight or obese people, but it is something extremely frequent among those who are suffering acquired disability. So if sarcopenia is just characterized by a progressive and generalized loss of skeletal muscle mass and strength, of course, sarcopenic obesity identifies obesity together with a reduced skeletal muscle function and mass. A reduction of muscle mass have a strong negative prognostic impact in obese individuals and may lead to frailty, disability, and increased morbidity and mortality. So, unfortunately, people suffering acquired disability very often are prone to sarcopenic obesity. There is, of course, a list of disadvantages of being obese, but this is something different if we are without any disability or if we are suffering disability. Of course, any obese people would experience a condition of reduced mobility, but if the subject is suffering acquired disability, these difficulties are even more important. Difficulties in moving, in some cases also fitting a wheelchair, for example. People suffering acquired disability, if obese, they are at very high risk of developing pressure ulcers. They are at increased risk for developing cardiovascular complications and type 2 diabetes, even more than the other subject. They are also at higher risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases, especially those who suffer a traumatic brain injury. And this is due to the baseline level of their inflammation, which is increased by the traumatic brain injury by itself, especially in its chronic situation, but it is also increased by the obesity condition. An obese condition in someone suffering acquired disability represents a great difficulty for caregivers and the family. So, modulating the quality and the quantity of the diet, and when possible, introducing some or any kind of physical activity is a really important aspect to reduce the risk of developing obesity or overweight in people suffering acquired disability. Of course, more details are available in the materials provided with the unit.